Here are the top 3 tips that I have for new project managers. Hello YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina and this is Cultivated Chrissy. Now, in today's video, I'm giving you my top 3 tips for new project managers getting into this field. What are those things that you absolutely need to focus on in order to be successful in this role? Now, there is so many more things, but I'm giving you those top 3 things that you need to focus on. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So jumping right into number 1, you need to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what success looks like. So if you've been assigned as a project manager on a new project, then first and foremost, you need to know what this project is about. Okay, the what. You need to know, why are we doing this project? What opportunity is it providing? What problem is it solving? Why is this thing needed now versus 5 months from now or 5 years from now? And then you need to know what success looks like. You need clearly defined measures that tell you that if we meet these different things, right? If we complete these different things, then the project can be considered complete, right? We've met the expected need. So you need to know that first and foremost. You are going to be the steerer of the ship, right? You're steering a whole bunch of people towards completion of a project. And if you don't understand what the vision is and where you're going and why, and what success looks like in that, then you can be steering them in a completely wrong direction. So you need to really understand that vision and be able to take people towards completion of that. And doing this first step is going to later help you to be able to define a roadmap for how you're going to get there. If you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, what success will look like in the end, what that expected result is going to be, then you'll be able to, with your team and your subject matter experts, define a roadmap or a plan, okay, or a project schedule to define how you're going to get there. So number 1, know what, why, and what success looks like. Very important step. So number 2 is to remember the people side of change. Now, as project managers, we can get so caught up in the tasks and the actual work that has to get done that sometimes we forget about the people side of things, the people that are going to be involved before, during, and after the execution of this project, right? In order to do things successfully, we have to make sure that we're not only paying attention to the tasks, but also the people as well. It's important for us to remember that, yes, as a result of this project, we're going to have a new product or new software, or we're going to have a new workflow or system, but also as a result of this project, people are going to have to change as well. And that can be directly or indirectly. People are going to have to change how they work. It could also be temporarily versus permanently. Temporarily, most likely being those that are actually involved in the implementation of the project, your project team, versus permanently people that are on the front lines, having to use a new software, having to be a part of a new workflow. So those people are going to have to change as well. And we want to make sure that throughout the project, before, during, and after, we are communicating with them, giving them updates on progress, helping them to understand why this is needed, why number 1 is so important, what this project is, why it's needed, what success looks like, letting them know that we're going to give them the tools they need to be successful at this new implementation. If it's new software, we're going to be training you. You're not going to be left out in the cold. This is how this is going to help your job to be better, easier, more efficient, help you to be more successful. And so we want to make sure that we're communicating this to these people that are impacted, our direct or indirectly impacted stakeholders throughout the project. Communication is so key, and it absolutely must be prioritized. Check out my 5 signs that you're failing as a project manager video, because in that I talk all about the people side of change, the methodology that you can use to facilitate that throughout your project, after your project. I talk about the ADKAR system. You definitely want to check that out. I also talk about resistance, which is something that if you ignore the people side of change, it's something that will come up time and time again throughout your project and after your project. You don't want to implement something, take months of people's time, your time, resources to do something, implement something new, and then people don't use it. You struggle with uptake of that new product or service. So you want to make sure that you are aware of the people side of change, you are addressing it throughout your implementation. Check out that video. I talk all about it there. So we talked about knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, what success looks like. We talked about the people side of change and making sure you're communicating all of that to the stakeholders that are directly and indirectly impacted by the project work. And so now, to really fill in the gaps, number 3, my next tip is to make sure that you're asking questions. You cannot be afraid to ask questions as a project manager. As project managers, we are facilitators. It is not our job to be the subject matter expert of everything. We don't know everything. We can't know everything. And that's why we lean on our team. We lean on our team of experts, our subject matter experts in the field, to be able to gather information from them. So if you don't know something, Don't assume, don't guess, don't sit there feeling insecure about something that you feel like you should know but you don't, and then that makes you afraid to ask. Just ask, love. Just ask, okay? You don't want to assume, because if you make too many unaccounted for assumptions, you're gonna be way off from the scope of the project, right? It can take you way off track, so you don't want to do that. Just ask questions. Don't be afraid to do that. If you're feeling insecure about asking a question, you can always say, just to confirm, can you tell me ... or I just want to make sure I have this right. Can you tell me about how you do ... whatever. Whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better, but go ahead and make sure you ask those questions. So those are my top 3 tips for project managers, but I also have my top 10 basic project managers tips video. I will link that in the cards and down below. You definitely want to check that out as a continuation to this video. That is all for today. Like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe for more videos on how to master the role of a PM, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.